Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi Gayatri. I can hear you. How are you?
Okay, good. Where are you? Are you in US or somewhere else?
No, I'm in London right now.
Oh, okay. So I cannot wish you happy 4th.
Yes, you can't. I know. So how was the fourth yesterday for you?
Yeah, it was good. A lot of barbecue. I'm still having 4th of July hangover.
Yeah. No, I know. It was obviously a big celebration day for you all, right?
Yeah, right. I'm super excited to talk to you and would love to know more about Helicor's mission.
Sure,
And welcome to Pitch Investors Life. I'll give you a little bit background about the platform. I'm an advisor, board advisor to Pitch. Uh,
sure.
I'm also a venture capitalist in the sports area and
Hmm.
invest in a lot of other high tech areas. I sit on multiple companies' board, had been working with HP, IBM, and after that had my own two companies. Uh,
Right.
Also work for Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, and as a
Hmm.
partner in a fund, I'm super excited to be part of great companies, invest in great companies, mostly investing in pre-series A or post seeds. So would
Okay.
love to know what you're doing and tell me about a little bit background about yourself also.
Sure. So I don't know if I could, using this platform, share my screen, which I highly doubt. Uh, but if I can't, then obviously I'll have to just be. You'll just see my face, really, not the slides. I don't know if I can share the slides.
You can share the slide if you use another third. So if you have another option to add someone else into
Hmm.
the conversation, then you can use that as a third screen. Yeah,
Right.
because
Okay.
I've done that with multiple entrepreneurs where there's two or three entrepreneurs and they're coming using multiple screens.
Yeah, because from my end, it's only me who is actually taking this call at this stage.
Okay.
But I would be more than happy to actually. I think I did share with uh, Di
That,
Diane.
yeah.
Yeah, with I shared the slides with her, and she said she'll forward it to you. So
Yeah,
did you
has
get the slides?
yeah, you can definitely talk to me a little bit more details. I have
Sure.
those information. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So just a bit about myself. I have been working with Heliocor now over a year. So I started back in May last year with Heliocor. Prior to that, I was working in banking and finance. So I have myself been working with Citi for a while in London. Then I worked for an Indian bank in London as well for over 2 years. My background is banking mainly and finance, and I got involved in cryptocurrency and blockchain for a while when I was working for a startup in London. But then last year, when Heliocor actually came to pitch their product to the company that I was working for in London, we clicked. They liked me, and they asked me to join the company, and that's how my journey began
Awesome.
uh, at Heliocor, which was 2018 May. Now,
So if
since
I want to ask you, tell me about what Heliocor is in one
Sure.
sentence. How do you define that?
In one sentence, Heliocor is a regulatory technology consulting platform. And the mission is really to change the way the world does business, and in so doing, restoring trust in financial services. That's our mission statement as a company. But obviously, the company has a really good background story, which I would like to cover here. The history is that Helioco started as a consulting firm, so it wasn't a product company or a software company. We did a major project with State Street. I'm sure you know of State Street.
State Street, yeah, was my client
Yes,
once.
so we did a large project which was to do a product selection exercise for them in London. They wanted to be compliant with a regulation called MiFID II,
Yeah.
and Owen, our company CEO, who comes from banking and regulation, so he has got more than 25 years of experience in regulation, banking, and compliance, was heading that project. And that is when we started back in 2014 August as a company, Heliocor. So he did the project, which was almost 2 years. So we went out, we took apart all the uh, softwares available, which could probably meet the requirements of State Street as they wanted to be compliant in their FX division. But when we went back after doing the market research, the storyboard was there isn't anything which matches an requirement, which is to
Right.
become compliant with the regulation that they were looking for. So in turn, they turned around and they asked us, why don't you build the software for us? So basically, we got paid to do the market research, find the gap in the market, and literally build a technology and install it in State Street. So
Right.
so we did all that, and when we came out of the project, which was 2016, we realized that, oh my God, we actually found a real gap in the market, and we built something so incredible. Why don't we rebuild it? So we rebuilt what we built for State Street and named that product as Robolytics. So that's our core product that we built out of this project. Then we went back to State Street because we wanted to make sure that there is no IP
Yeah.
infringement, right?
I was about to ask you that question.
Exactly, exactly. So Heliocor went back to them, had a very serious meeting in the boardroom, showing them what we have built, and expecting that, okay, they won't come and say that, look, you have actually taken our IP and so on. So it went really well. We shook off hands and they said, no, that's fine, it's all okay, no worries, and carry on. So they in fact showed interest in investing in the company. They wanted to take a pie or take a share of the company, and they said, we will invest in you. But Owen at that time did not require or did not see the need of it. So we carried on ourselves, basically. So that's how our first product, Robolytics, which comes from robots doing analytics. So it's a high speed analytics engine which uses AI, machine learning, all the latest tech buzzwords that you can think of, and does real time. So when I say real time, under 10 milliseconds, it can spot behaviors, trends, fraudulent activities, or suspicious behavior, and so on. So that's what Robolytics is is. I mean, that's what it is really, basically. And this started in 2017, that we
Mhm.
started adding modules to it. So we started adding transaction modules, payment modules to make it a multi-regulatory compliance platform. And right
Mhm.
now, as we speak, so we have few banks. Uh, for example, SPD Bank, which is Shanghai Pudong Development Bank. That's the fifth
Right.
largest Chinese bank. In London, they have Robolytics in their organization, helping them with MiFID reporting. Similarly, we have American Express in Saudi. They have signed up a deal with us, not for Robolytics as such, but for transaction monitoring, because they have a huge scale of business in Saudi Arabia, and that's where they're using Robolytics for monitoring transactions in real time. So Robolytics is taking the market share slowly. But last year, and our CEO calls it a series of happy accidents.
Mhm.
So we were actually looking for a credit score or a risk score for onboarding a client, and that's where the need of asking for their documents came up. And then, what better way?
KYC AML.
Exactly, exactly. So,
Mhm.
what better way could it be if they use their smartphone and a mobile app to self onboard themselves by clicking pictures of their documents, and that connects digitally with all the organizations? So,
I'll
that
tell you, this is a huge need as a fund manager. We find
absolutely,
so much of difficulty when we are onboarding a lot of accredited investors, and
exactly,
especially when it's on a global scale. And this is a huge pain point for not only venture capitalists like us, but also
exactly.
multiple law firms that we are telling our lawyers how to do it, and the lawyers is like, we don't know. We can just check the documents, but we
Yeah,
can verify the forgery and other things. So tell me, so this is one of the biggest use cases you're talking about. There's a
yep,
huge gap in the industry, and
exactly.
I would love to be your customer then. So I'm love.
Sure,
I
sure.
my question to you is that how you guys are validating those information.
Yeah, so just to I'll answer that question in a
Okay.
minute. So basically, with Store, and this is what is happening. So we went to Saudi. We had a very good trip, and our executive team is very strong in banking and financial services. So one of our finance guys, as in the finance director, comes from HSBC. he spent more than 12 to 15 years in HSBC in Saudi in particular. So he knows more than 50 to 100 CEOs in Saudi and globally, all put together. So
So what's your role in Heliocor?
again, it's an interesting big, but it's still a startup scale up environment that we are in right now. We are a team of 30 plus, so I wear different hats.
Okay.
I wear sometimes a project management hat, or a sales hat, or a product demo hat, or even seminars and presentations that we do across multiple events, or these gatherings which are happening around city of London
Okay.
and so on. So multiple hats all times, not just, but it's mostly client facing,
Okay.
and that's what I'm
Got
doing.
it.
Yeah.
So,
So
so when you're talking about the use cases, tell me about the verification, that
mhm.
how you guys verify. Are you using any kind of technology like blockchain technology, or what kind of the platform you guys are using?
So in terms of validations, so for identification, if we can get access to the government data, right, which is not available in all the countries. So passports, we will read the MRZ number, which is right at the bottom. Uh,
Right.
the format of that number should be correct. And as long as the format of the number is correct, it has your name, your date of birth, everything in that MRZ number of that passport.
But
So,
what about like the credit investment part? Like
mhm,
suppose I'm a credit investor and you're reading my bank statements, you're
mhm,
reading some of my investments,
mhm.
and you need to confirm that okay, I am an accredited investor, and then this is not a forged document.
So look, see, the thing is, the interesting part is, in this online world today, there is no software which can actually detect that your passport is genuine or not. Passport is absolutely genuine at all time. It's the data which is not correct on that passport. So what you need to remember is, the passport number is valid, but the data on that passport is not valid. So that's where the mismatch is, right? So if you compare that passport number and check it against the government data, for example, it will still give you that yes, it's a valid passport number. Okay. But whether the fraudster has changed the data on that document, how do you verify that? So the only way to verify that, and that's where blockchain kicks in for us. So with these two products, Robolytics, which sits within institutions, and DocStore, which is a mobile app, reaches customers' wallet. And nowadays, your smartphone is your wallet.
Right.
So with these two products, we are able to create a natural ecosystem around these two products, which allow us to create a community of validators. That means we will onboard utility companies, say gas, electricity, water, them verifying the documents with their seal of approval, and we store a unique fingerprint of that document onto the blockchain.
Yes.
Because
The first point of gap is that you have to onboard those companies.
exactly,
So how many companies as such you have onboarded? Because that also pertains that you cannot function in certain jurisdiction or certain countries or certain areas, right? So if you onboard European companies, European KYC AML has to happen compared to US KYC AML, right? Or if
exactly.
I'm onboarding European
Hmm.
investors, or
Hmm.
whoever whose KYC
Yeah,
needs to pass from Europe, so then I'll be using your
exactly.
software.
So,
Yeah.
so in terms of, so to answer your question, validations are happening by us connecting with through an API to different databases or data
Right.
sources. Okay. So whether it is, let's say in Australia, recently we are working with a client where we are connecting our software to ABP, which is Australian Business Profile or Portal. Okay. So there all the businesses are registered. We just need to fetch the data through API, and it confirms that this is a valid company, and these are the directors of that company, and
Right.
the UBOs and so on. So all we need to do to make this a global solution, which we are doing right now, we are reading Chinese passports, and we are connecting our software to multiple data sources to validate the information. So whether it's Experian or Equifax or Credit Safe, or even Dun and Bradstreet, and all these different companies, which are data companies, data sources. We connect through that. So as a client, when you want to onboard an investor or an accredited institution, for example, you will be able to perform and get these multiple validations from different sources depending on what you required by law, if
Amazing.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that. So tell me, I totally love that because I come from a big data background and
Hmm.
had worked in the regulatory space, ran my own companies, and
Hmm.
when you're running your own fund, I know the pain points that you guys are solving, and
Yeah,
currently there's a huge gap that exists.
true.
So the use cases is amazing. So
Hmm.
tell me where you are in terms of your company status, your fundraising.
Sure.
What are you guys trying to look for right now?
Yeah, and yeah, so that's an interesting bit now because what has happened up until, so we started August 2014, up until 2018 we have been fully self-funded. And up until last year we did close to $1 million. Two-third of that revenue is from consulting. Okay, so we were consulting with Barclays, with Santander Bank, even with some of the companies like Cognizant, which are big professional services companies.
Were they using your software?
No,
They
we were
using the
actually,
manpower.
yeah. So we were, yeah, my manpower and consulting on their compliance projects,
Okay.
right? So we, up until last year, that's how we have managed to survive. Okay.
Okay.
Meanwhile, for the last 4 years, we have been building the product. So even that requires, tech guys having our own software if you're building in house and so on. Now, this year is the first year when we raise funds. And to be honest, when I joined last year, one of the reasons I joined the company was that I was asked to project lead the ICO. So Heliocor was looking to raise funds without really going through the traditional equity way. They thought, okay, let's tap into the ICO market. And since we intend to build the ecosystem, we thought we do need a stable coin or a utility token, which then can be exchanged within the ecosystem. Let's do an ICO. That was the initial plan. Okay, so we went ahead with the ICO plan. Didn't work out. Reason being, the market wasn't good at that time last year, especially up until 2017 it was booming, okay, because of whatever reasons, Bitcoin was going up, blah 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 blah. So September last year we decided we will not go for ICO. Let's get into STO. STO is security token. We decided, okay, let's do a preferred equity share, which is a class B share. That's under UK law, UK regulation. We will digitize that. So it's a tokenized preference share that we have issued. And through that, we have raised $2.5 million. So, so that is the first ever investment raised by the company, which is, we finished that this year in March 2019. And even though I would say we finished that, we haven't really, because the last tranche of that 2.5 million, which the investor was supposed to pay, that sort of got delayed, and that converted then into, okay, then look, I can't afford to take that many shares at that stage. The investor said, so we said, okay, that's fine, whatever it is, we'll move on. Now we are at that stage where we want to still sell preferred equity because it's a tokenized share, so it gives the liquidity of this to investors, that they don't need to wait for the IPO, really, right? These tokenized shares will be listed to begin with. So what we have done, we have partnered with a company called globacap.com, which is a UK based FCA regulated platform, and they digitize the issuing of equity, ordinary equity or preferred equity.
Right.
So they issue
So why are
tokens
you?
on.
Sorry, I'll cut you in the middle. Why
Yeah,
are
go
you
on, go
not
on.
taking traditional venture capital route?
I think honestly, the company, I mean, it's not that we are not having conversations, because preferred equity isn't something which it's not everyone's cup of tea, right? So they want controlling rights, they want voting rights, and so on,
But
because preferred.
they're also going to open yourself to their networks. So you guys
Exactly,
have huge
exactly,
network. I
absolutely.
mean, that's the idea of if you guys are hoping to be a unicorn.
Hmm.
And if you're not, if you want to stay as a small business, don't go to the VCs because it doesn't make
Hmm.
any sense.
Hmm.
But why not go to the traditional venture capital route, because they're going to open the door of networks, because the guys whom you're fundraising, they're not opening network, they're just participating with dollars. That's
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I know. See, I completely understand the difference between smart money and dead money. Okay, and I think VCs are smart money because
So we
even
can be
though
dead money too when sometimes.
yeah, well, again, depending on who that VC is, really, right? If they are a strategic investor, then definitely they would be smart money because they'll open the network. And that's the exact conversation I was having with another VC yesterday. I was talking to, and that's based out of India. And they said the same thing as well, that if you want to be a unicorn, look at Facebook or look at Alibaba or look at any Amazon, for example. They've all given ordinary equity, right? Because that way your network or your reach,
You get
because
convertible notes also. There can be multiple conversation in this regard.
yeah.
But my question is that what exactly are you looking for right now?
So immediately, if we talk, look, there are two conversations. One, preferred equity. One is ordinary equity. Okay. If we go preferred equity, we we decided that we will issue 52 million tokenized preference shares. That will be equivalent to 20% of company's future profits. So that means those shareholders, they will not have any voting rights because it's a preferred share, but they will get a 20% chunk of profit of the company year on year, lifelong. And that's the future profit we're talking. Okay.
Right.
Now, that proposition is still on, and we are still dealing with it, and we're still talking to investors. At the same time, we opened up conversations on ordinary equity as well,
Why don't you
because
go back to State Street?
about taking the money.
Yeah, about investment.
I think, I think to be honest, it has now gone past almost what, 3 years or more, that the relationship which we had, I mean, we built something for them, we installed it, we got the money, and we came out, right? So I don't think that relationship exists
Hmm.
anymore, whereby we can just walk in and say, oh, now we are growing, and you, why don't you come and take. So it's like you're bending down, and they may just take advantage, and they say, oh, we want 50% of the company, right? Or more. So right now, with ordinary equity, we have had conversations with family offices or VCs as well. And the question always, because we are on target right now this year to do 2 million plus
Okay.
revenue. Okay. So that means we will grow by almost 100% this year by revenue. But until last year, it was consulting plus product, whereas this year it will be pure product, no consulting at all. Okay. So we are looking, if we talk about ordinary equity, 3 million minimum. Okay. And that's on 10%. So
Okay.
valuing the company 30 million,
Okay. Okay.
right? And keeping in mind that we are post revenue, the product is already deployed at few banks, and we have already signed deals with banks like American Express in Saudi. So yes, there is a high probability of us getting that valuation and getting that money
What's
based
your
on
current
ordinary.
valuation right now?
If I have to answer that question honestly, there isn't any valuation done on paper.
That you
No.
needs to do if you're talking to VCs and family offices.
Hmm.
If I ask you what's your valuation, you need to give me a number, because otherwise, if you don't know, then do a convertible note,
Hmm.
because you want to go to Series A or other rounds. But again,
Hmm.
doing an STO also, that's another route. What I can do is that, I think it's a good conversation. I think it's almost 30
Yeah.
minutes. I want to acknowledge the fact that you guys have done amazing,
Thank you.
because you guys are not in an idea phase. You guys have
Hmm.
already done your PMR.
Sure.
I think your product is no longer beta. Your product
Yeah.
is already out there, done implementation. You guys have clients.
Absolutely.
You guys have raised money also. So you guys have seed rounds that you have done. I think
True.
there is some important opportunities that are lying. And I think what I can do is that let me go through your documents clearly.
Sure.
I just need to do a little bit of research. I
Sure.
understand that how I can help you guys, because I don't think you guys are at the phase where I can connect you to a bunch of accelerators, but maybe I can connect you to bunch of my VC networks or
Mm-hmm.
family offices networks
Mm-hmm.
who may be interested in this product. So I
Sure.
should do my own research to understand what you guys
Mm-hmm.
have built and
Okay.
may have another conversation with you. So I'm traveling next week, but after that,
Mm-hmm.
I will get back to you to understand where all places the product can be used. And
Sure.
if you can also give me, if you have not shared in your deck
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
your clients, that would be
Sure.
great. Then share that information with me.
Okay.
I will go through all the details and let me
Mm-hmm.
get back to you because you guys have done an amazing job. You guys, as I said, you guys are already out there doing things. I think it's almost like a post seed company. I
Yeah.
can see cash flow
Mm-hmm.
positive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to put the economics and understand what kind of exit strategies that many other funds can look into it and say that, okay,
Sure.
what are the TAM, because you guys found a use case which is a huge problem. I know it. I was
Yeah.
few weeks ago I was literally banging my head and trying to understand and talking to multiple lawyers how to take care of it. So let me go back to
Sure. Sure.
Blackboard and try to understand your product
Mm-hmm.
from the document that you have sent it to me, and have another conversation to see that how I can add value or bring some of my network or
Sure.
do some introductions or what can be done, what could be the next step. Okay.
No, that sounds absolutely fine, Gayatri, and thank you so much for your time once again. I'm sure you can ask me for any more information. I've already shared the client details in the deck, which I've shared with Dayani, so you can see that. But if at all you need any more information, please feel free to get in touch.
Okay, that sounds amazing. And I think I'm going to share this interview
Hmm.
also on social media so that they know what you guys are offering, because there are
Okay.
a lot of other followers or connections
Sure.
I may not reach directly, but they can
Hmm.
understand from this opportunity platform that what you guys are doing and what how they can work with you. Okay, as a client.
All right, that's fine. No problem.
Okay,
Great.
thank
Thank you for your time.
take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.